Hey YouTube, Sam here. Well, as you can see, there's a jack with a block and it's under the oil pan there. And I'm about to replace the passenger side motor mount on this 01 Ford Escape. So I started out, and it's up on jack stands, or not jack stands, some ramps and jack stands first of all. But not because of this. I think you could do this without it being up higher, but right now I got some other things I'm doing on this rig. Got a bunch of stuff I'm going to be coming out with, so keep an eye out for those. But right now we're working on the passenger side over here motor mount, and I was going to do the front one as well, but they sent me the wrong one, and I waited. I didn't figure that out till it was too late, and they won't give me the right one because I waited too long. So one downside about ordering things on Amazon and things like that is you end up kind of waiting for things and then you get into other projects, but otherwise it's still a lot cheaper. Regardless, got to move on. I got that on a block, jacked up to the oil pan because that's where everybody says to do it at. I hate doing that, but this is a pretty sturdy oil pan underneath here. But I just jacked it up enough to where it's just kind of putting slight pressure. It's not, you know, lifting the whole car up. It's just slight pressure to keep the motor from sagging down when you go to unhook some things. Really, because I'm only doing the one, it probably wouldn't make a difference if I just pulled it out of there. But just for safety purposes, we're starting there. And this is where I say, I am not responsible if you hurt yourself doing something I do. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, we are on the passenger side, right by the overflow bottle or pressure vessel. It's a pressure vessel is what it is, but regardless, here it is right here. This whole system here, lots of stuff in the way. First of all, I'm also replacing the seal on this, so that's kind of why I'm decided just to go ahead and do this. And quite honestly, I don't even know if this needs done. I have since found out that the ball joint on the driver's side is shot and I need to replace that, so that might be some of what my clunking is. Regardless, we're going to go ahead, since I have the part and I can't return them, and replace these, at least this one here. Obviously the front one won't work, but there's a bolt right there that is hooked to the power steering pump thing here, the hose here, which you need to take out, and you're going to have to undo your power steering pump from here to get it out of the way as well. And there's also this right here that you're going to have to unhook. Mine, somebody's done half the job for me already, but that's neither here nor there. A little tape will fix that, and then that'll get that out of your way. From there, I believe there's 1, 2, and 3 bolts we need to take off, and I'm not sure exactly what these are here for, so I need to check that out a little bit more. Well, I'm going to start with this one and see if I can just get away with unhooking the actual motor, just the motor mount bolts, and lifting this up enough to slide it down in there. I don't know if I'll be able to do that or not, but we got an 18mm socket here and just a socket, long extension, and a wrench, and that seems to do the job. I won't be able to see it, but down here, right down in this area, there's another bolt. I can't tell what size it is, and it's right below all this air conditioning stuff right here, so unfortunately that's gonna be real pain. Well, I can't get a camera anywhere near where this bolt is, but I went down through here with some long extensions, 1/4" ratchet, and a 10mm bolt, or a 10mm socket, and down below where the brake fluid booster or tank is here, right in between the two tanks, there's a 10mm bolt that is, or nut actually, that is holding the air conditioning hoses lines in place. And so I'm just loosening that up, trying to get that loose and see if I can't maneuver those out of the way a little bit better. Trying to get that bolt out of there around the air conditioning, and I was able to loosen the top one real good, but the bottom one's also hooked to it, and I can't get that bottom one. And then I came down here and get the light right here, and right below this air conditioning where you go in, get out of the way, where you go in to fill it or test it or whatever this is. There's the bottle for the windshield wiper fluid, so I'll kind of show you where you're at. But if you go below, right below that, right there, there's another stud with a 10mm bolt that is holding that bottom one, I hope anyway. Well, maybe not. Oh, there's two. There's another one down here, so there's two 10mm bolts. Alright, well, I'm going to get that other one off. I'm going to try and move that bracket out of the way, and when I come back, hopefully we'll be there. And here's the new motor mount. It'll be easier to film this out of the car. So that's the one I just went after. I was able to move those lines out of the way very easily once I removed those two 10mm bolts that I showed you, or nuts. I needed, because they're just studs sticking up and there's nuts on top of those. So this is the one I just took off. There's a 13mm. The one on the top is an 18mm, and I believe there's one here and one, well, I know there's one here and one here on either side, and I believe those are 13mm as well. If they're not, I'll tell you. But I'm just going to go down and loosen those, and that will, for all intents and purposes, remove all the bolts that are holding this in. Now, whether or not we'll be able to slide that out, that's a different story. Thing should be free. So if I lift up on the motor some with the jack, so I do have more weight on the jack now. I'm hoping maybe it's moving, but not enough to where I feel comfortable pulling that out by hand. I do think I'm going to have to remove these, and I have a feeling that these are also holding some stuff on, but what, I don't know. I don't understand why. This is kind of a rubbery piece around here, and this is a ground strap, which that makes sense, but the rubbery piece here doesn't seem to have anything that sits on top of it, unless it just, and it doesn't seem to go all the way through. So I really don't know what that's for, but it appears that they're probably 18mm bolts here and here. And here's the new one. This is the old one. I can definitely see that this is squished down in here more, and this is sticking up. I'm hoping that doesn't mean that this isn't the right one for some reason, but this definitely is moving around a lot, and this one's pretty solid. So hopefully I can get away with just this one. If you watch the one where I replaced in the back, I didn't actually replace it. I got a brand new one, and it felt identical to the old one, pretty darn close, so I didn't bother actually replacing it. At some point, I think this transmission is going to come out of here, and I'm going to have to redo, probably put a whole new tranny in it. I don't know. We'll see down the road where this car goes. But for right now, I'm just going to put this one in. Having a little bit of trouble, and I don't know if it's because the other motor mounts are off or what, or if it might be a different one. I don't know. But I got it kind of in there now. I'm going to show you on this one what I did first, and then I'll try and show you under the hood. But what I did, put this down in there, and I just loosely put these 3 bolts in, and it was over to this side. It was, or no, this side. It was actually, the hole where you were supposed to put the bolt in was going like over here, and I actually maneuvered this around and got the motor mount on the top. And then I'll kind of show you from there. Now, after I have these all loosely in, the ones I just showed you, I was able to put this on and maneuver it till I could get this bolt in here and get it so it's sitting pretty good on here. Then I tightened up all of the bolts around on the bottom part of the motor mount that I showed you that I just put in loosely. Now this one's fairly tight, but it's still not all the way reefed down, but tight enough to keep it where it needs to be, which should allow these to maneuver around a little bit and hopefully make the motor mount actually shift a little bit back and forth, because these are still just a little bit that direction, but I think I'll be able to maneuver things around and get those set up. Now, to do all this, I did have to kind of lift up and down on the jack to try and get things in place. Now, once again, I have a feeling I should probably do all the motor mounts, and I'm going to take a good look at that front motor mount and see if there's a way I can maybe use the one they sent me. Maybe there's just parts of it that are the same and you don't use the whole thing. I don't know. I gotta take a better look at that. That'll be another video maybe, but for now I'm gonna get the rest of these bolted in best I can and tighten everything down. And alright, and I was able to use this to kind of stick in here a little bit, and I can maneuver this around quite easy. So I'm gonna get that in where it appears that everything should go in, and I'm gonna tighten, actually I'll probably tighten these ones down, and hopefully that'll hold these in. If not, I may have to do some more, but regardless, I know I can get these in here. You may have to do some fandangling, pushing, prying, and pulling to get this done, but so far it's been still fairly easy. Well, it's in. Now I can get back on doing the power steering deal that I'm doing, and it went in fairly easy. I had to do a little bit of maneuvering it and with the jack, and a little bit, you know, just kind of moving it around, but really once I got that punch especially, it moved quite easily. So I think it fit in there well. I think we're good. I do think the other one was probably, if not bad, on its way out, because it's definitely quite a bit squished down. But regardless, here and there, I got that part of it done. It's just one more thing done on this thing. It's starting to grow on me, so, and it's been really easy to work on, this 01 Ford Escape. Real easy to work on. Everything I've done on it so far, except for the alternator, has been a breeze. The alternator was a real bear. Everything else has been pretty good so far. Hopefully I didn't bite myself on that one, but anyhow, it's all done. Hopefully you can get something out of this. Whether or not I did everything perfect, I know I should probably do them all, but it's just not going to happen. And a lot of you guys out there are in the same boat. You can't spend hours and hours working on your rig trying to get everything perfect. It's in better shape than it was when it leaves here than when it came in. That's all I worry about. So in that case, this is Sam, Jack of all, master of none. You all have a good one.